Hello everyone, from a retired champion jockey with a new venture, from a clerk of the course who had a turbulent first season but the second one looking very promising after more favourable summer conditions, to a winner of the Thoroughbred Employee Awards from last year, right through to here, a breaker's paradise for pre-training. Welcome to This Racing Life. While the alarm clock might be set a little later these days for former jockey Charlie Poste, he and wife Francesca have never been busier. All are welcome for pre-training at Station Yard Farm, whether they're a lightning-quick Brocklesby type or a scopy chaser of the future.
Essentially, we set up as a point-to-point operation, so we produce horses like they would in Ireland, so buying unbroken 3-year-olds with an aim of winning or running well in a point-to-point and hopefully selling for profit, but not always. And then we would have some owner riders, so people whose hobby and passion, like playing Sunday League football, is actually to ride in a race at the weekend. And again, we try and help them fuel their own dreams. And then we would break in a number of horses for a lot of local professional yards, Ollie Murphy, Dan Skelton, Ben Pullin, John Joe Neal, Ian Williams, and various others, and get them ready to go into full training. And in recent year, this year, we've launched a breeze up syndicate, so looking at pinhooking yearlings on the flat and breezing them in the spring.
Fran, pinhooking and this new venture, it's a very interesting one, but probably from a business standpoint, quite a necessary one. You can't really afford to sit still in this business.
Yes, and we just felt that we'd sort of, with the points, it's become difficult. Well, I think it always was difficult to try and get those top prices that the Irish are getting, even though at the moment I feel that we've had a lot of graduates that have worked out on the track, but we still don't seem to be able to get that sort of top money for horses once they've won. And so, yeah, we just felt it was something else worth exploring.
Like Francesca says, it's just looking for another income revenue, and it's also a quicker turnover too, you know, yeah. for better or worse. As in, as I said to someone, you know, maybe it's just a faster death, you know, but you kind of know your fate way quicker than you would with a slow and maturing point-to-pointer. And again, I don't think it's us being chippy about it. It's just looking at the fact that when we go to the sales, there's often the stigma that they are an English point-to-pointer rather than an Irish point-to-pointer, which has been an industry that is steeped in history of producing top-level horses. So, whereas I think we both felt that if we turn up at the Breeze Up sales in the spring and we get it right, the one thing that isn't going to be argued over is whether it's an English or Irish breezer. It's just hopefully a fast horse.
From the Breeze Up exploits going into that game, it doesn't matter where you've been, you kind of feel on the outside that the fundamentals might be the same as you would be doing. Would that be correct?
I think the breaking in process will probably be similar, won't it? And then we'll obviously just try and educate them as well as we can. And I suppose at the end of the day, I guess they're either fast or they're not.
It's just from by nature, as I don't need to tell you guys, we're just in the middle of jumping country. You know, we don't have flat yards near to us to give us that sort of people wanting to come and utilise the facilities here and have us break in their yearlings, because it's just too far away from major flat operations. But again, you're hoping with doing stuff like this, there might be a bit of a swing in the tide that, you know, like I said, as it stands right now, Jamie Insole has been in the press, is going to go into this training partnership with Richard Newland, trying to open up a flat side to things, and we've got a few yearlings here for him that we're going to break in and pre-train for a period of time. So yeah, the whole thing is trying to open up another avenue, you know, and different opportunities within the industry. I suppose you look at it from when I was growing up in the sport, and you know, the West Country, Marden Pipe, Paul Nichols, Philip Hobbs, it was like a massive stronghold, and don't get me wrong, there's still an unbelievable number of operations down there, but the Midlands has become a hotspot for jumping that it definitely wasn't when I was a rider starting out.
For some people, working with their partner, it sounds like a terrible idea. However, in racing, I don't know why, it does seem to work. Why exactly do you think it works for you two?
You best answer that one.
I guess I'm not sure it does always work, but it seems to in the end, doesn't it? I guess we have a lot of probably disagreements, but I guess we want kind of the end result to be the same, I suppose. I mean, there are things that probably I think Charlie's mad doing, or vice versa. So I don't know.
I think I was going to say that, like, I'm tremendously understanding and stuff like that, you know.
Maybe.
No, as in, I think we have the same goals, don't we, at the end of it, and we're competitive, and yeah, we do disagree, but we're pretty good at sort of getting over it and moving forward, because I think we both know that we want the same thing at the end of it.
Yeah.
Can you say also what you say what needs to be said? You can say the unsayable, maybe.
To each other.
We're pretty blunt to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. As in, it's actually, I mean, you're filming in this house. I think it's helped moving in here. You know, we were in a little tiny cottage before, so sometimes when you've had a blunt conversation, to come back in at lunchtime and be like, okay, we're husband and wife again now, click and click out of it isn't always the easiest, but when it comes down to it, we get along great, don't we? And like I say, I think we're pretty good at accepting that work is work, and this side of things is completely different to it, and there needs to be distance between the two. Come on, nephew, come on. Let's go, come on.
Whoever said nice guys finish last clearly hadn't heard of Richard Johnson, and after 4 consecutive Jockeys Championship titles, he hung up his boots at the end of the 2021 season. And while it used to be about the afternoons for him, it's now about the mornings and the future.
You're always sleeping, boy, aren't you? Always sleeping. Come on, boy. Yep.
You say he's 5?
He's 5, yeah. But he's just... Oh, he's all arms and legs. But actually, he's one-eye bred as well, and I bred him and sold him to the owners. So he's almost come back for a... But yeah, he ran twice last year, ran quite nicely, but they just said he's like, every time he ran, Henry said he kept growing and was almost getting ganglier rather than stronger. So he's good boys. Good boys. Good lad.
Richard, thank you so much for having us down. It's great to catch up with a jockey with a storied career, but that isn't just it. There's life after riding, and we've very much seen it today.
Yeah, it's, I think when you retire, even though I had an idea what I'd like to do, you never quite know what it's going to be like. I think I'm still probably learning. But again, it's nice to be able to have actually finished racing and then, you know, had something else to go straight into, and hopefully we're sort of making the most of it.
Is it very much a fluid plan, even still, like nearly a couple of years, just over a couple of years out of the saddle, would take each day as it comes, see what opportunities come?
Yeah, I think you'd never say never, because if someone rings up and offers you something, it's always nice to know what might be out there. And again, until you retire as a jockey, for me as a jockey, you've got to do it 100%. So you can't really be chatting to people and thinking about what you might do in the future. It's for me, it was always do that 110%, and then when I stopped, then you can sort of see what else is out there. But again, I'm very lucky with the having the sort of the family farm anyway. So we've been back living in Herefordshire for quite a few years now, and the farm we live on has quite a lot of grassland. So the breeding was always something I had an interest in and wanted to sort of get involved with. But at the same time, you never quite know how it's going to work out.
With the family life there's a big adjustment that comes with suddenly stopping and being home based.
Yeah, I think it is, but it was something I was quite looking forward to, sort of spending more time with especially with the children and Fiona, and seeing them play sport. It's quite nice to be involved a lot more on that side of things. I'm not sure I'm a very good watcher of other people doing sport. I've realised I'm quite competitive and get frustrated quite easily. So, it's great to be involved. For me, I achieved more than I ever dreamt of achieving, sort of as a jockey, and I loved every minute of it. So, rather than sort of being gutted that I had to stop, I'd like to look back and sort of remember I'm slightly shocked how well it went, but I've got great memories and an awful lot to be sort of happy about, I think. So I think you can't really look back, you've got to look forward, and I was very, very lucky to do what I did. The only thing I miss is the competitiveness. Now riding horses at home, even breeding horses or watching the children play sport, I don't have that competitiveness against anybody else, that's the one thing I think, watching racing or going racing, that's the bit I really miss.
Take me through who we've got here.
Well, these are actually the two foals that are going to go to the sales now in early November. So this is a filly foal by Walk in the Park, and she's actually out of Chili Filly, a really nice mare that Henry Daly trained that I rode. So yeah, most of the brood mares I've got a sort of a connection to, either ridden them or, there's usually a connection why we've ended up having them. But obviously Chili Filly was probably one of the best mares I rode anyway. I knew she was sort of coming up for sale, so lucky enough we managed to buy her with a couple of friends, and this is her first foal. So yeah, she's a bit of a character girl, isn't she? I wasn't quite sure how when I first started doing it, whether when we sold the horses as foals or 3-year-olds, to go into training, whether I'd sort of how I'd feel about somebody else owning them and everything else, obviously after us sort of breeding them and getting them going. But actually I think, you do get a real sense of pride when, seeing the horses run and what they do, and even speaking to the owners and trainers. There's a 3-year-old we've just sent to Martin Keithley now that, has been bought and gone there. And he's sent me a video actually last night that, showing me what he's doing. And so you still feel quite part of the whole experience.
Your name's still going to be in the race card.
Well, hopefully, yeah. But no, again, I think it's a nice thing to follow, and I could never imagine not being involved in racing. But this is hopefully a nice way to be involved in racing, and sort of something I can enjoy as well as being part of a business.
Something that was fantastic today, a real added treat for a racing fan, was seeing a couple of old timers who are enjoying a lovely retirement. That start with Menorah, a home for life he has here, and a well-deserved one.
Yeah, no, he's an amazing horse really, because he's obviously was very, very good, but he's got a lovely personality. He's great to deal with. But obviously for me personally, like obviously the first year I was champion jockey, the race before I picked up the trophy, he won the Oaksey Chase, and again to win 4 Oaksey Chases again is amazing. But he went out on a high, and again he just gave me so many good days. Obviously when he won the Supreme Novice, obviously it's one of those days I just managed to beat AP. So I suppose for me again it was that didn't happen very often. So but again he gave us so many great days over such a long period of time. So he is a horse for us that has given me an awful lot. So it's lovely to have him back here. And again, Willow, our daughter's ridden him loads. I ride him. He's out in the field. If we've got youngsters, he'll give them a lead. He'll basically do whatever we want, and hopefully he'll have a fantastic life. After racing, doing hopefully what he enjoys.
Is he everything you expected him to be in retirement, knowing him in his racing career?
Everything bar brave. He is definitely not brave. As a racehorse, he was very brave. He attacked fences. I could ask him from wherever, and he'd literally answer every call. Since he's retired, he seems to have given up on the brave front. Willow, not long after we first had him, we were out in the field. We had some little small hurdles out in the field. So I said to Willow, oh, well, come on, you can follow me on your pony. I'll jump over them. With that, we cantered down to them. He refused, and I went straight over his head. And I thought, oh my God, I mean, this is, sort of ridiculous. But he's definitely, he'll still jump. But yeah, he's definitely not the brave chaser that I sort of remember riding around Sandown.
Menorah, he gave you a massive day in the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Arguably one of the biggest moments of your career, or definitely of your early career, a horse that put you on the map. Looks Like Trouble. 31 and still with you in retirement. Fantastic to see. Yeah, no,
he's a gentle giant as well, really. He's when obviously Noel Chance, father-in-law, trained him. When he was retired, Tim Collins, who owned him, hadn't got anything for him to go, so he came to live with us. And yeah, Fiona's ridden him, I've ridden him. Again, the children have even sat on him and ridden him.
He's a fantastic advertisement for how old horses can actually get, especially ex-racehorses. You constantly hear of horses going well into their retirement age, but 31 is, and still looking like he does, it's remarkable.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think obviously it's 100 years of the Gold Cup this coming season, so I think Cheltenham are quite keen to try and get him there for one of the days. And again, it's just, to have, to see past sort of heroes, you know, especially at his age, still enjoying life and being able to do what he wants. It's great to see. Yeah, this is Menorah. It's a Teresa at the moment. It's like it's too warm to put rugs on them, but it's not quite too as in. So you're looking a little bit woolly now, boy. Aren't you? Yeah, boy. Yeah, this looks like trouble.
Oh, unbelievable.
Hello, boy. Come here, boy. Come here. Boy, I know. But yeah, he was probably the first, like, really big winner, right? You know, I really rode, so. Boy, you seem to be still full of life, don't you? Hey. I've realised one thing. I've got to muck out a lot more, do a lot more of the jobs. So when I was a jockey, you fly, you know, you jump in your car, you dash from here to there. Somebody else does a lot more of the less exciting jobs. But yeah, now to be at home with the family and still involved in racing, Jimmy, I feel very fortunate to, you know, have had the career I had, but also to be able to do something, you know, that I enjoy afterwards.
Well, I never pictured you in pipe and slippers.
Maybe another 20, 30 years, but yeah, definitely not yet anyway.
Maybe you'll have bred a Gold Cup winner by that point.
Well, that obviously, again, that's sort of the dream, but again, it's lovely to have the young horses coming through, and again, it definitely gives me another focus on, something to try and improve and do well, and also it gives me something to, it's nice to see the horses running and hopefully performing on the racecourse. Good boy.
What a sight. Cheltenham Racecourse in all its glory, looking immaculate ahead of their curtain raiser coming up fairly shortly at this point of the season. It was a trying time to be a clerk of the course, let alone if it was your first year at the helm of the UK's premier national hunt venue. But with more favourable summer conditions this time around, John Pullin is champing at the bit to get underway. John, it's such a pleasure to see this place tranquil and serene ahead of what is a hectic season. It probably goes by in a flash. We'll get to the track in just a second. Firstly, just a bit about you. How exactly did you plot your route to become clerk of the course at Cheltenham?
I've been involved in racing one way or another sort of all of my life, really. Whilst I was at school, I spent time working for John Southern, who at the time was freelance jockey and had a yard at home and used to do sort of the pre-training there. So I spent all of my school holidays, weekends, any opportunity I could really with John, and my interest really grew from there.
Are there things you've been able to take from your various different jobs? It's not an exact science, you can bring them straight over to being a clerk, but there must have been things that help.
Yes, definitely. I think particularly the riding side of it. I wasn't hugely successful, but I think that definitely helps with course sort of layout and setup, and you understand really what the implications of some of the things you might be doing with, be it hurdle positions or rail movements, etc. So I think, yes, there's been aspects that I've been able to bring into this current role.
Personally, I would see it as the job from hell. But even when you do a fantastic job, there's always going to be someone at least disappointed, but you have to take the rough with the smooth.
You do, and I think as long as you can be in the mindset that you're never going to please everybody all of the time, then those tougher days you can get through. It is a challenge. It has its moments. We're battling all sorts of things like weather constantly, but the good days make up for that. Early
on at the beginning of the last National Hunt campaign, it was quite clear that many tracks were going to have a knock-on effect from what was one of the driest summers of the last however many years. Did you have an inkling around about August, September that things were going to be tricky?
We did, and probably even earlier than that, to be honest. The back end of that season before, we'd done some fairly extensive and relatively aggressive end-of-season renovation. The track needed it, but unfortunately that drought followed straight after. And as you alluded to there, grass cover, grass growth, it was poor initially. And we sort of felt the effects the whole way through the season, right up to sort of pre-festival, when the new course particularly hadn't quite recovered as well as we would have liked. So we felt those impacts throughout the season.
That's a challenge for any clerk at any racecourse. Your first year here, you must have been cursing the heavens.
Yes, Wet Wednesday as it's now affectionately known. Yes, as I say, you battle with weather constantly. There is that focus, particularly here and particularly at the festival. But you make decisions based on the information that you have to hand at that time, and you have to stand by those decisions. Hopefully you get them right more times than not.
All of that's in the past. You can put a line under it because there's been a more favourable summer. This one, as you were saying just before we started, you were the only one probably happy that there was little to no real hot sunshine all the way through. How are preparations, Ed, in the new season?
Yeah, it's going really well. It's really sort of chalk and cheese to last summer. We've had that sort of steady rainfall, nothing too extreme really, throughout the summer, but it's just meant that we've had that growth, we've had that recovery, everything that we would want during the summer period. It's all happened at the right times, touch wood, so far. So we're in a really good place, sort of 3-4 weeks out from the first fixture. We've got a very, very healthy and good cover of grass this time. So very much looking forward to the season ahead.
Looking at the season structure, there have been changes in the lead up to the festival. Take me through them.
Yeah, so the industry-wide review of the pattern has been an interesting piece of work, and hopefully the aim of creating sort of more competitive racing in that sort of pyramid to those Grade 1 races will work. That's resulted in some changes, as you say. And we've had some of those changes here. We've lost a couple of races, but it's in the hope that in the round we potentially see the benefit then come March, when we've got horses competing in those Grade 1s that are maybe a little more battle hardened because they've had to compete against others to get there. But I think that the biggest change, and hopefully the most positive, is the move of the international hurdle, and that's moved from its December slot to Trials Day. And it's interesting that it's already been talked about as a possible route for Constitution Hill. So if we could achieve that in year one, that would be a fantastic outcome. But as I say, it's an industry-wide project, and hopefully we'll have the right outcomes.
The highlight of many people's season in the National Hunt calendar is the Cheltenham Gold Cup. It's a fantastic race, it's enthralling every year, and this will be its centenary year. Yeah,
it's special. I'm hugely privileged to be here, and to be here at this particular moment in its history is a special moment. The team have done some fantastic work to, start and promote that and try and reach a wider audience with it, really. I think racing fans in general will be engaged with the festival, will be engaged with the Gold Cup, and I think it'll be special for them to be here or to watch the Centenary Gold Cup. But hopefully it's an opportunity for us to expand that and try and engage with sports fans potentially that may not be engaged in racing at the moment, but really sort of latch on to the special events. And 100 years of the Gold Cup is certainly going to be special.
We're fast approaching the nominations deadline for the 2024 Thoroughbred Industry Employee Awards. Now, you've got until the 7th of November to get yours in, and they're a chance for us to recognise inspirational stories and service to the industry. In the case of last year's winner, Sarah Guest, she had both in spades.
Sarah, take me back to the beginning. When did you first get interested in horse racing?
Right at the beginning was when a point-to-point yard. It was just 10 minutes down the road. I was lucky enough to have contact there, so I started helping out on the weekends. There would be a naughty little meet in the week, and I'd be like, "Oh, Mum, I just got to go racing today," and she'd say, "Go on, then." Off I go. But yeah, it was just a passion, that adrenaline, that buzz that I had right from the start. It's just something that I just couldn't I had to just carry on with it and progress then. So we're going under rules to work with John.
She came in just as anyone else would come in at that age to start off, but it didn't take long to realise her enthusiasm and her passion for it was very strong.
Was it quite clear to you at that stage, or it maybe a few weeks in, that this might be someone who might be sticking about for a bit longer than others?
You never quite knew, but you know, anything that needed to be done, she always stepped up to the plate, and I don't think it came instantly. But you know, she's worked hard to work her way up the line as she became more knowledgeable about everything.
And you're very comfortable at delegating responsibility to her as well. This is a yard where people muck in, and if there's a job to be done, the job will be done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Sarah's no different. She'll get in and do everything.
John is fantastic. He gives me the support and the backing that I need, especially now after I've become a mother. I've had 2 children, and he helps me with regards to the childcare and makes it flexible for me to carry on with the job that I've got, where it might not have happened in a different sort of career. So I'm really lucky like that, and I love it. I wouldn't go anywhere else.
All of that is brilliant for when you're suddenly shoved into a position of authority, when John unfortunately is taken so ill that he's not able to run the business, and he turns to you.
Yeah, it wasn't expected. We knew the operation was happening, so we prepped ourselves for him to be out for sort of 2-3 weeks. And then, of course, when it went on and on and on, it was a team effort. I can't thank the staff enough for their backing and support for everything that's gone on. Same with the owners. They were fantastic. They all gave me their support and helped me do it as best as to my ability.
Why is it important for trainers or employers as a whole in the racing industry to nominate their employees for these awards?
I think it's very good for any of the staff to get recognition for, you know, how hard they work. I think racing's progressed great over the years, and there's so many opportunities in it now. But you know, the staff as well have got to show that they can be rewarded for it, that they're not just here to do a job that's not going to go anywhere. I
said all along, once I knew I made the top 10, I was going to fly the flag for the small yards. We're only a little dual-purpose yard in the middle of Gloucestershire. We try and keep our standards extremely high and keep everyone happy and try and progress the personal development of all the staff. But we do see ourselves as a smaller yard.
Off the back of that, you are now in a different position for the awards coming up this year. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I get to be a judge this year. I'm so excited. I mean, when I got to meet everybody on the day last year, the 3 that had come through as the newcomers, the inspiration that I got off them and hearing all about their stories, something I'm really looking forward to find out what everyone is sort of doing and what inspires them to stay in racing and what they are getting out of it.
Why should someone nominate an employee for these awards?
They need to be thanked. They're the unsung heroes of racing. We're here every day, no matter sun, rain, shine. We're here plugging away, and they dedicate themselves so much to the horses. All their time is given to them, and it's just a way of saying thanks. And same with Godolphin, I can't thank them enough for putting the awards on for us.
Final question, how did you celebrate?
We had a great night out, not gonna lie. The whole team, we all come together, we said, what are we going to do? And we all decided to have a night out at the Ivy, and we celebrated in style, and then decided the best way then was to divvy the money out between the rest of the staff as like a pool money. But yeah, it was a good night, and we still talk about it now.
So that's it for the latest edition of This Racing Live. Thank you to everyone for opening their doors this week. Bye bye, we'll see you again very soon.